Ladies and gentlemen, the United States has intercepted Russian fighter jets above Alaska, and this is the fifth or sixth time, I've lost count, but including the spy balloon, this is about the fifth or sixth time that an aircraft from another country has breached our airspace. Air Force times 49 minutes ago, Air Force jets intercept Russian aircraft near Alaska. 4 Russian aircraft, including a fighter jet and fighter bomber, flew into a buffer zone of international airspace near Alaska Monday, according to a release from the North American Aerospace Defense Command on Tuesday, prompting a handful of Air Force jets to scramble and intercept them. Then you have articles saying this has nothing to do with the spy balloon. Well, of course it does. You have almost every single day an aircraft, a balloon, a fighter jet, and you have a whole bunch. Actually, the aircraft included the Tu-95H Bear Su-35 fighter, along with other Russian jets, 2 F-16s, 2 F-35s, and an E-1 Sentry and a KC-135 Stratotanker responded. NORAD tracks and positively identifies foreign military aircraft that enter the Air Force, the buffer zone of international airspace near Alaska on Monday. So they did breach that airspace. This is a huge deal, ladies and gentlemen, because you see that this is not stopping. Okay, this isn't just a distraction like a lot of people say. And God bless you, it could well be an attempt at distracting, but I don't think it is a distraction. This is a serious topic where you have a routine disregard for U.S. sovereignty. The only response is an economic response. It's not a military response, although that it could get to that very quickly. With Trump as president, we wouldn't have had these issues because you would have had an immediate military response. Now, they've gone after Moscow, still hasn't worked at all. With that situation in Europe, the invasion that took place under Biden's watch, not under Trump's, okay? Yet another thing that took place under Democrats. He would have negotiated a settlement, and you wouldn't have had the humanitarian tragedies or worked for a peaceful solution. With Beijing, Trump would have elevated or increased the tariffs that Democrats didn't reverse. But here you have fighter jets scramble to intercept 3 military aircraft near Alaska. U.S. intercepts 4 Russian military planes. U.S. intercepts 4 Russian warplanes near Alaska. This is a huge, huge problem. North American Aerospace Defense Command said it detected 4 Russian aircraft. Okay. Tu-95 Bear H, Su-35. So this is like stuff that you grew up with in the Cold War. I remember in the 80s, you would look at their tanks, you'd have little books, you'd look at their tanks and their jets, and then you'd look at our jets and our tanks, and you could see, you would have an atlas or the, not the Guinness Book of World, you'd have you wouldn't have the internet, you would have little books, and you could say, oh, how many tanks do they have? How many missiles do they have? So kids would read up on this, okay? And we're back to that situation where we have not only a Cold War, but Democrats, it wasn't Trump. We didn't have this problem with Trump. You might not like his personality, okay? You might not like Trump's personality. It's fine. We weren't 90 seconds to midnight. We had spy balloons, an aircraft above Michigan, 2 or 3 other balloons or aircraft, some above Alaska. Now we have these 4 jets. And There's a nuclear-armed warship in the Arctic. That's interesting. I'm just reading this. From Moscow, and so the you-know-what is hitting the fan. So I was reading an Air Force Times, and then there's Yahoo News, Daily Mail, and then you have Romania scrambles fighter jets to intercept suspicious weather balloon. Okay, so there's a whole lot of reconnaissance going on all around the world, especially over the United States of America. Okay? This reconnaissance, this intelligence is gearing and leading up to something that we don't know. This is a big problem in terms of geopolitics. We need a president, because mashed potato brains is out to lunch. We need a president like Trump to negotiate, to talk, to use economic leverage. Okay, inflation is going up, like I said it would. But we need actual diplomacy, which is what Trump was so much better at than Biden. Sending weapons and arms, and that's not diplomacy. Okay, we need the Doha Agreement, the Abraham Accords, first president to step foot in North Korea. Trump got things done. You might not like his personality. You might try to downplay the things that he got done, but he got things done. We now have a geopolitical situation that's crumbling before our very eyes, just like our economy. Everything's propped up with smoke and mirrors. We had a recession last year, but the economy, the GDP, was up. How did you tell me how that's possible? Up 2+% with a recession, 2 consecutive negative quarters of economic growth, of 2 contracting quarters, GDP contracting 2 consecutive quarters. You tell me how that's possible. RM sales, 200 million barrels of strategic petroleum reserves that we were selling to geopolitical adversaries, by the way, while at the same time with not buying from our mortal enemies after they invaded under the watch of Democrats. Hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen, right now. Yahoo News. U.S. intercepts 4 Russian planes near Alaska. Big, big problem. There is a concerted effort to derive intelligence before perhaps invasion of, God forbid, perhaps Taiwan. Who knows what they're, maybe in the South China Sea, they're planning on doing something. Who knows? Okay, there are so many issues, so many geopolitical dilemmas that we face. And we didn't have to get to this point, ladies and gentlemen. The people who pushed also, the bureaucrats, hit subscribe, by the way, really quickly, become a Patreon. To my new Patreons, thank you. Become a member of this channel. I will have a live stream later tonight. This is a huge, huge, huge problem. We don't have right now the economic leverage we did under Trump because Democrats and bureaucrats and media overreacted to a serious issue and then pushed to shut down economic activity. Even regardless, we should still impose tariffs if we feel that, okay, another country is flying above our airspace with balloons. Okay, we allowed a balloon all throughout, from the Aleutian Islands, Alaska, all throughout the U.S. to take as many pictures and reconnaissance and photos and 360-degree imaging, and these balloons can actually track. I have the article in my segment prior to this yesterday. They can track individuals. They can track license plates. Okay, there is a concerted effort to derive intelligence before some kind of upcoming military endeavor. I'm not saying what it is. I don't know, but it's pretty obvious. Now you have 4 Russian jets, including a bomber, and above Alaska. That's a huge, huge problem. Now, if we continually get these incursions and these aircraft or balloons or fighter jets above our airspace or encroaching upon buffer zones, then you have a question as to, well, all of those people who say that America's respected now, it never happened under Trump. And that is a fact. And there's zero evidence it ever did. Now they're saying, oh, it wasn't detected. Yeah, right. Give me a break. They lie through their teeth all the time, then they complain about Trump lying. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. There's a concerted effort for reconnaissance for some purpose. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that something's going on. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe. I'll be back in a couple of hours.